Well, what happens in the relationship? What's the dance like when you have a counseling session or a psychotherapy session or a conversation about change? What's actually going on? What are the things that make the biggest difference? And we've paid a lot of attention to client language. I know that factors like experiencing were being considered in the early work of Rogers and his students. But we've gotten even much more specific than that about language that people use, essentially around their ambivalence about change, which is normal. You can elicit from people their arguments for change. You can elicit their arguments against change. They have both of them already there. But if you as a therapist argue for change, you will elicit the arguments against change from the client. And that's exactly what was going on in the addiction field in the 1970s when I entered that field. The counselors were very authoritarian, saying, here's what's wrong with you, and here's what you need to do, and here's your problem. That elicits, I don't have a problem, and I don't need to do this. And then clients got blamed for being in denial, when in fact that's a product of the interaction itself. So motivational interviewing really was about counseling in a way that helps people to feel understood and safe, and elicits from them, in addition, their own ideas about and their own motivations for change. And we've been able to show that that makes a difference, that you can predict from the process measures within a session what the outcome is going to be.
Wow, yeah. Well, I'm just thinking I know that for myself as a person. If someone is insisting that it's one thing, I can just feel myself, even if I agree with them. I can feel my body want to go, no, I want to do the other. And like you could see that in the research, that the more the therapist pushed, the opposite happened.
Very much. In one of our studies, we could predict a very behavioral outcome, the number of drinks per week that the client was having a year later from one therapist response, which was confront. The more the therapist confronted, the more the client was drinking a year later. So we need to pay attention to what we're doing because it makes a difference. But the research has certainly made me much more conscious of my responsibility in working into a session, that it matters what I say and it matters what the client says. And we're having an interaction that can very well have an influence on that person's life course.